Welcome to Coffee English. I want to start today with something that might shock you. The students who struggle the most with English are not beginners. They are not people who just started learning. The students who face the biggest challenge are the ones who already speak English well. They can have conversations. They understand movies. They read books. But something terrible happens to them. They stop growing. Today, we are going to explore one of the most dangerous traps in language learning. It affects millions of English students around the world. Scientists call it the intermediate plateau, but I call it something different. I call it the comfort zone prison. Today, you will discover something that most English students never realize. You will discover why your brain tricks you into staying average. You will learn the hidden psychology that keeps good students stuck. And most importantly, you will get the keys to break free from this invisible cage. Before we dive deep, tell me in the comments where you are listening from and what time it is in your country right now. I love connecting with our global Coffee English family. Let me share something fascinating with you. Scientists studied this problem at a famous university. They watched thousands of language learners for several years. They found something amazing. The human brain has a built-in enemy for language learning. This enemy becomes stronger as you get better at English. What is this enemy? It is called cognitive ease. When your brain finds something easy, it stops paying attention. It goes into autopilot mode. Think about when you first learned to drive a car. Every movement required focus. You thought about every turn of the wheel, but now you drive without thinking. Your brain saves energy by making driving automatic. The same thing happens with English. When you reach intermediate level, many things become automatic. You can order food in English without thinking. You can introduce yourself without stress. Your brain says, "Great job, English is easy now. Time to relax." But here is the problem. Language learning needs active attention to grow. When your brain relaxes, your English stops improving. You enter the plateau trap. Picture this situation. Maria has been learning English for 3 years. She can watch Netflix shows with subtitles. She speaks with her international colleagues every day. She feels confident about her English skills. But one day, she realizes something scary. Her English is exactly the same as it was 6 months ago. She uses the same words. She makes the same mistakes. She has the same accent. Maria has hit what researchers call the intermediate plateau. But this is not just Maria's problem. Research shows that more than 7 out of 10 English learners get stuck at this same point. They reach a comfortable level and then, nothing, no more progress. Why does this happen? The answer lies in how our brain works. When you first started learning English, everything was new. Your brain was like a detective, analyzing every sound, every word pattern, every grammar rule. This intense focus created rapid learning. But as you improved, your brain began to recognize patterns. It started making predictions. Instead of listening carefully to every word, it filled in the gaps. Instead of thinking about grammar rules, it used shortcuts. This is actually a sign of intelligence. Your brain became efficient. However, efficiency can become your enemy. When your brain stops analyzing, it stops learning. You develop what scientists call fossilized language patterns. These are mistakes and habits that become permanent because your brain stopped paying attention to them. The good news is that you can wake up your learning brain again. You can break through the plateau. but it requires a specific approach. You need to make your brain uncomfortable again. But most teachers never talk about this truth. When you are comfortable with your English, your brain thinks the job is done. Your brain learns best when it faces something a little harder than what you can do now. Some smart people have a special name for this, but I like to call it the growth zone. To enter the growth zone, you must do something counterintuitive. You must make English difficult again. Not impossible, but challenging. You need to find the sweet spot where your brain says, "This is hard, but I can do it." How do you do this? Let me give you practical strategies that work. First, change your input level. If you watch movies with subtitles, try watching without them. If you read young adult novels, try reading news articles. If you listen to slow English podcasts, try listening to native speakers talking naturally. Your brain needs new challenges to wake up. Second, focus on your weak areas. Most intermediate students avoid their weaknesses. If speaking is difficult, they focus on reading. If listening is hard, they practice writing. But this keeps you in your comfort zone. True growth happens when you face your fears. Third, use what I call the mistake hunting technique. Record yourself speaking English for 2 minutes about any topic. Then listen to the recording. Write down every mistake you hear. This forces your brain to analyze your own language patterns. Most students never do this because it feels uncomfortable. But discomfort is where learning lives. Fourth, seek complexity in familiar topics. Instead of talking about your hobbies using simple words, challenge yourself to explain them in detail. Use advanced vocabulary. Try different sentence structures. Make your familiar topics unfamiliar again. Now let me give you today's phrase. This is a powerful expression that every intermediate student should master. The phrase is, to step out of your comfort zone. This phrase means to do something that feels difficult or scary because it will help you grow. For example, you can say, "I decided to step out of my comfort zone and join an English debate club." Or, to improve my pronunciation, I need to step out of my comfort zone and record myself speaking. This phrase is perfect for describing your language learning journey. When you step out of your comfort zone, you enter the growth zone. Remember this phrase. Use it in your conversations. Let it remind you that growth requires courage. Let me tell you about something remarkable that happens in your brain when you break through a plateau. Brain scientists have found something amazing about breakthrough moments. When you suddenly improve a lot, your brain makes new connections very quickly. Think of your brain like a city. When you first learned English, you built the main roads. These roads allowed you to communicate effectively. But to become truly fluent, you need to build smaller streets, bridges, and shortcuts. These connections happen during breakthrough moments. But here is what most people do not understand about breakthroughs. They do not happen gradually. They happen suddenly. You practice and practice with no visible improvement. You feel frustrated. You think nothing is working. Then one day, everything clicks. You understand a movie scene that was impossible before. You express a complex idea effortlessly. You sound more natural than ever. Scientists call this the breakthrough effect. Learning often looks like stairs, not a smooth slope. You stay at one level for weeks or months, then suddenly jump to the next level. The key is to keep practicing during the flat periods. The magic happens in the waiting. Let me share 3 advanced strategies that can accelerate your breakthrough. Strategy 1 is called the native speaker shadow technique. Find a video of a native speaker talking about something you are passionate about. Watch it once for understanding. Then watch it again, but this time, try to speak along with the person. Match their rhythm, their pauses, their emotion. Do not worry about understanding every word. Focus on copying the music of their speech. This trains your brain to recognize natural English patterns. Strategy 2 is the translation trap escape. Many intermediate students still translate in their heads. They think in their native language, then translate to English. This creates a delay and makes your English sound unnatural. To break this habit, try thinking in English about simple daily activities. When you brush your teeth, describe the process in English in your mind. When you cook dinner, narrate your actions in English. Start small, but be consistent. Strategy 3 is what I call the mistake celebration method. Most students hate making mistakes, but mistakes are actually gifts. They show you exactly where your brain needs to focus. Start celebrating your mistakes instead of feeling embarrassed. When you make an error, say, "Great, I found a learning opportunity." Write down your mistakes and review them weekly. Your relationship with errors will transform your learning speed. Breaking through a plateau is not just about technique. It is about mindset. Smart people who study the mind call this a growth mindset. This means you believe you can get better through practice and hard work. Many intermediate students develop a fixed mindset without realizing it. They think, "I am not good at pronunciation," or "I will never understand native speakers." These thoughts become self-fulfilling prophecies. Your brain stops trying because it believes improvement is impossible. But here is the truth that will set you free. Every native speaker was once a beginner. Every fluent person went through plateaus. Every expert faced moments of doubt. The difference between those who succeed and those who stay stuck is not talent. It is persistence through the plateau. Let me explain something powerful called the compound effect. In finance, compound interest means your money grows faster over time. Small investments become large fortunes if you wait long enough. Language learning works the same way. Every word you learn, every conversation you have, every mistake you correct adds to your English foundation. At first, the progress feels slow. But as your foundation grows stronger, everything builds faster. New words stick better because they connect to words you already know. Grammar becomes intuitive because you have seen patterns many times. Pronunciation improves because your ear is trained. The plateau is actually when the compound effect is building strength underground. Like a tree that seems to stop growing but is actually developing deeper roots. Your English is getting stronger even when you cannot see it. So here is my challenge for you today. Choose one thing that makes you uncomfortable in English. Maybe it is calling a restaurant to make a reservation. Maybe it is commenting on YouTube videos. Maybe it is speaking to yourself in the mirror for 5 minutes. Whatever it is, do it this week. Step out of your comfort zone. Wake up your learning brain. Remember, the plateau is not a prison. It is a launching pad. You just need the courage to jump. Your English journey is not over. It is just beginning a new chapter. The most exciting improvements are waiting on the other side of your comfort zone. Thank you for joining me on Coffee English today. Remember, every expert was once a beginner. Every fluent speaker faced plateaus. What makes the difference is not avoiding the plateau, but learning to dance with it. If this episode helped you see your English journey in a new way, share it with a friend who might be stuck in their own plateau. Learning is better when we support each other. Keep practicing, Keep growing and keep stepping out of your comfort zone. Your breakthrough is closer than you think. Until next time, this is Coffee English, helping you brew the perfect English skills, one episode at a time.